Dear friends, my name is Alexey Ognev. I'm the CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. I welcome you this webinar. It's been around 1 month since the last time, so it's time to share some inspiring news with you about how this time went by for the DigiU ecosystem, what results we achieved, answer your questions, and make a little announcement of the future events where I am inviting you now. So today, I will tell you what awaits you this Thursday and share some latest news. As I said, we haven't been online for about 1 month, but anyways, we've done a lot of work and there were live streams as well, but as part of special videos, as part of the marathon, we also agreed on partnerships with different companies and structures. And also, we released a very emotional, very inspiring film about how it all started and how all this time went for us and where we arrived. So the 4th birthday is coming for us. And you can see at what level we are negotiating now. We also talked about the exhibition there. So if you haven't watched the film yet, I really recommend you to watch it and share it with your partners, investors, and so on. So we did great work. I'm talking about both the venture capital fund, about the projects, about the partnerships. For example, in August, we did a tremendous amount of work in India, and we will talk about it today. We will also discuss what awaits us all in the next few months. And I will touch the topic of how the ecosystem will develop and how we are going to achieve the goals we set for ourselves. By implementing the second stage of the company development, the venture capital fund stage, and how everything is going for us. And if you are watching this webinar on YouTube right now, please leave your questions in the chat and I will answer the most interesting ones. At the end of this webinar. So if anything interests you, write it in the chat and leave your questions if you want me to answer them. Also, you can ask your questions in our official Telegram chats, and where you can find all the answers to all the questions. So let's begin. Again, I welcome you. And let's start with some news. And before this webinar, I asked Boris Povar, the CEO of the EYWA project and director of our blockchain lab, to record a voice message with the latest news for EYWA, because There were a lot of events, a lot of partnerships, especially the partnership with Curve. Also, the DigiU event was postponed. So there were a lot of news, and I asked Boris to make a detailed voice message for all of you. So let's listen to it. And it will allow us to get into the context of the first potential unicorn of our ecosystem. Let's give the floor to Boris. Hello, what's the latest news? We've been in close communication with Curve and Michael Yegorov. As a result, I managed to find out about Curve's plans and priorities. They are keen on expanding the usage of their Curve USD stablecoin because it generates significant revenue for Curve. Here is where we found synergy. We learned that Michael plans to update the pools on Curve with the release of the new version of stable swap contracts, including CRV USD. This aligns perfectly with our solution, which utilizes these pools for cross-chain exchanges. After this, our discussion shifted towards investment, and Michael Yegorov eventually invested in us and publicly supported our project. So what are the next steps? Currently, they are continuing to test this new functionality, the new smart contracts. We have already helped them identify a couple of significant code errors, as mentioned by Michael on Curve DAO's Twitter account. Overall, he was pleasantly surprised by our technical team's strength. Therefore, we've developed a roadmap. We are waiting for them to complete testing of their new version. After that, they will begin deploying it on all the blockchains we need. Additionally, they announced their intention to join the Binance Smart Chain, where Curve is currently not present. These pools will be also deployed there. Once this happens, we can start our integration and launch our solution, EYWA DEX v2, on top of these pools. This currently applies to stablecoin pools. Regarding the TGE, after consulting with many, not just me, but our entire team, including launchpads and investors, there is a unanimous consensus that now is not the best time to launch a token, considering the market's uncertainty, which could go either up or down. Most of those we talked to among our partners, investors, advisors, and acquaintances in the industry share the same opinion. Also, since our deep integration with Curve makes us dependent on the release of their functionality, we need to wait for the new version to be launched. Why? Launching a token without any utility doesn't make sense, as we have repeatedly communicated to the community. Simply having a token for the sake of it is a meaningless endeavor. Therefore, we will wait until all the necessary functionality for EYWA DEX v2 is in place, which I will emphasize again depends in part on Curve's release, before considering a token launch and conducting the TGE. Additionally, we've made some significant developments. We have entered into an agreement with DeFi, a Tier 1 launchpad, and they are already incubating EYWA, especially in terms of tokenomics. We've engaged in discussions regarding marketing and tokenomics with their team, and they proposed several improvements that we've worked on together. Overall, we have enhanced the tokenomics to our advantage, and it appears that the revised tokenomics have received higher ratings from auditors. We will share more details about this soon. When it comes to token listing, it will primarily be on EYWA DEX v2, as we want to demonstrate how our DEX works. EYWA tokens can be purchased there from any connected network using various stablecoins. We will have a single liquidity pool located on Avalanche. This is one of our key unique selling propositions for the market, and we intend to showcase it ourselves. So the initial listing will be there. After that, we have plans to list on centralized exchanges. We are keeping that in focus and have various contacts and ongoing negotiations. It is important to understand that to get listed on centralized exchanges, you need to firstly have a finalized tokenomics plan, and secondly, typically you need to have closed all public rounds beforehand. This ensures that they are aware that everything is finalized on your end. Therefore, it's best to engage with taxes when the token is launched, public sales have been conducted, and ideally when it's already trading somewhere. So what we are doing by launching on a DEX only strengthens our negotiating position with taxes. Regarding which taxes we are looking at, we are currently focused on top-tier taxes such as Bybit and OKX. It could also include some slightly lower tier ones like BitGet, Bitmart, BingX, and so on. But our primary interest lies in the top 10 or top 20 taxes. However, it's important to note that this will not happen immediately. It will occur after we launch the token and some time passes and it's actively traded. In addition, we have some exciting news to share. We will soon be launching the EYWA Adventure Quest, a large-scale event aimed at drawing attention to our project once again, much like we did in 2021, gathering attention from the wider public. Participants will primarily need to conduct transactions on our platform and complete various social tasks on different Web3 marketing platforms such as Galaxy, Guild, and obtain roles in Discord, which will result in GAX NFT rewards and receiving the EYWA NFTs. This will be needed later if you don't want to wait until the lockup period for reward token ends. With EYWA NFTs, you will be able to quickly put them in NFT and sell them. This quest will be launched soon and supported by our marketing efforts, influencers, and other promotional activities. We are currently in the final stages of packaging and testing all these mechanics. The price pool consists of 5% of the EYWA token emission, specifically 50 million tokens. Additionally, there is a referral program, a reward for those who bring people into this event, with the potential to earn up to 20% of their rewards. It's a 3-tier referral system with 10% for the first level, 6% for the second, and 4% for the third one, resulting in a total potential referral reward of up to 20%. Furthermore, after the IDO and the launch of trading on EYWA DEX, we will conduct another major public round for $2,450,000. This round will be for those who initially tested our platform and for anyone interested. It will take place in 2 stages. Initially, it will be open to everyone who participated in testing the platform. And in the second stage, it will be open to all interested parties. We are still considering the final terms for conducting this round, including the allocation size and specific whitelists. We have at a minimum a whitelist for those who participated in the alpha testing, and we may expand it to include participants from the current event, the adventure quest we are about to launch. So those are the updates. Lastly, the transactions that need to be performed as part of this task will be executed on the current version of DEX, which is currently live on the mainnet for an amount of up to $1,000. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Boris, for such a detailed answer about the latest news. And I want to highlight the main points. So it should be mentioned the level of the work currently at EYWA. So EYWA is an example how a technology company does its way from the idea to hackathons to business metrics to launch on the market. It's a key rule for a startup. If there is a potential client, then the startup has good chances to succeed. And we at DigiU were the first ones to invest in the project, and now is helping the project to develop and to improve. And we are happy to share with everyone that we have such a project in our portfolio. And that this idea was born as part of our blockchain lab and went all this way to the place where it is now, together with other professional projects and market players. So that's the project where our venture capital fund is investing in. And we are very proud to share such news. And you heard some names of the key market players, such as Curve, CDFI, and others. So the names that Boris mentioned are top players of the market. And it's another confirmation that the EYWA project will succeed with high level of probability. And currently we are in the bearish market. And in these conditions, EYWA is moving forward, attracting investments, including investments from the CEO of Curve, Michael Yegorov. Not to mention that there are many possibilities on the foundation of EYWA's solution used for cross-chain exchanges. And we will talk about it in more detail later when we have some specific results. Also, for many of our partners and investors, the Curve company is not really popular and famous. But in fact, Curve is in top 3 of decentralized exchanges in the world right now. And the founder of this company is communicating directly with the EYWA project and with Boris in particular. And the EYWA team has enough expertise to find errors in the code of Curve and some functionality of Curve is developing specifically for EYWA. And during some of the meetings, someone offered some analogy for the partnership with Curve. Let's imagine a company that we are an organization that develops batteries for cars. And after 2 years of operation, we are contacted by Elon Musk, and Elon Musk asks us to use our batteries for Tesla cars. And also he says that he wants to invest in our company by himself. So that's the confirmation that our partnership with Curve is a maximum that can be achieved in the DeFi industry. And while I was listening to Boris, I got a text from my son. He texted that he's listening to a webinar. So I want to say hi to my son. So right now I'm in the Russian chat and I see some questions from you. I can see one question related to token estate, another one related to crypto bank. And when I was in India, I gave a presentation on the topic of the future of the banking system. focusing on RWA banks, real world assets banks. And let's move on. As I said, our venture capital fund is a division of the ecosystem responsible for funding, which attracts investments from both traditional structures and private investors through the DigiU ecosystem. So this way we provide equal opportunities for everyone to become co-owners of all the developments within our ecosystem. And in addition to that, we provide the opportunity to get tokens, bonuses of all the projects within our ecosystem. So the goal of the stage I mentioned is to invest in at least 30 technology startups in the next 2-3 years. Not at the most early stages of their development, but a bit later. And also, another goal is to attract around $50 million to be able to invest in these different startups with large checks. So now our task is to work on the legal framework of the venture fund. So now is not the best time for the market because many projects lack investments. And we have seen many projects related to technology, including artificial intelligence, robotics, and so on. So we've done a huge amount of work. And we need to understand what expertise we need to have to select these potentially successful projects. So our goal is to attract funding from traditional structures. Because right now, the primary funding we attract to the venture capital fund comes from the DigiU ecosystem. And this way, we were able to invest in the Binaryx project and in the real world assets industry this year. And apart from me, Alexander E. also gave a presentation in the exhibition. We also invested in the Spirit Me project, which is launching in the US market. And its technology is developing constantly. And we are happy with the results. We are happy with the deals we made this year. We also launched the Token Estate project this year, and I will talk about it in more detail later. We did an extensive research on the industry. We communicated with real estate agencies, and we also communicated with trust funds that control around $2 billion in the real estate industry. And this fund is operating in India. And it was very interesting to us because this fund has a chance to attract cryptocurrency investments through RWA opportunities, which would increase the capitalization of their controlling funds. So that's how we develop. I also wanted to mention the working trip of Alexander E. in India. We've been there with a large team in August, and then Alexander came back there to have more meetings with some corporations and also with some governmental structures. And recently he finished this working trip and now he's preparing for another one. And we see as a great interest from India in our solutions. And as I said, we are working on our venture capital fund to have a legal framework and to be able to work with professional investors. And it means that this volume of liquidity of $50 million will be provided by two ways. First is the crowd investing and the DigiU ecosystem. Which attracts not only funds, but also people who promote the project. And the traditional funds who invest in a traditional way. So these professional investors will be able to invest directly in the venture fund of ours, starting from $100,000. So this year, we want to form the legal structure to be able to work on all these directions. And we already have some applications and requests from India and other countries where we went before. So the preparation of the legal framework is something we are working on right now. And also this year, the goal for our venture capital fund is to invest in 5 projects. The first one was Binarix. Then it was SpiritMe with digital avatars. The third one was the Token Estate project, a marketplace of the real-world assets, which was developed on the foundation of Binarix. So now we are building the marketplace, where it will be possible to conduct deals with real-world assets. And real estate tokenization is only one direction of how the assets can be tokenized. So real-world assets is becoming very popular because soon it will be possible to tokenize all the different things like gold, metals, and real estate. So it's a new type of ownership, I would say. That's what I was talking about in India. I was explaining how these new types of ownership can emerge very soon. So it can be the next development stage for all the markets. Token estate is the platform for tokenization of anything. And the project is being developed right now. The team has been formed, but it's just an early stage, and more is to come. So we are on the edge, and we have a chance. We have a chance to gain some market share. So we understood what we need to have, what level of expertise we need to have, and then we developed a roadmap. And another direction of our development, and someone is asking about it right now in the chat, is RWA banks. As I said, it's a new type of ownership. So with each new type of ownership, like gold, then banknotes based on gold, the markets were getting to new levels with each type of ownership. And right now we are at the edge of a digital type of ownership. And I'm talking about national central banks of different countries are starting to launch digital currencies. In Russia, in India, and I think by now around 130 countries are developing in this direction. And it's leading to the result that the tokenization of assets is getting closer and closer. And we also want to develop in this direction as a company. And I think in 2, 3, or 4 years, we can become one of the top players in this market. With the understanding of the volume, which is around few $billion, and with the expertise we have. And this topic is not really complex to understand, as I explained in the exhibition. So we can see that digital assets are being integrated even at the governmental levels. So the client base is being formed in different countries. So these digital assets are starting to become legal in many countries. So banks will be able to use them in the same way as they do everyday operations with traditional things like money, gold, and so on. So we thought how we as a company can become a market player in this industry. So in the DigiU Wealth product, there was only one direction, which is a farming fund. And once we looked at it, we understand that it needs to be decentralized, it needs to be audited, it needs to have all the certificates. So let's talk about the tokenization of assets. And let's take an example of real estate. So how most of the people are used to buy different real estate. So there is an initial sum of, for example, 5, 10, or 20%. And the rest part is paid by a bank. And the token receives this real estate as a collateral before you pay out all the money to the bank. And the bank can use it for its So we want to become the first bank that will provide the opportunity to clients to get a loan or to buy a real estate in any part of the world on the smart contract level. register it and then pay out with a percentage as usually. It's a very clear example. That's how the DeFi is developing. So all the traditional markets and industries are just being decentralized using smart contracts, which allows for more trust because they work independently. So we saw an opportunity that at some time we will have a marketplace where it will be possible to get a mortgage for a property, and also we will have a RWA bank where you can get a loan and do other everyday operations. So basically it's a try to influence the whole market. So we want to attract potential clients for tokenized real estate. That will be able to, these people will be able to get loans for this tokenized real estate in the same way as they do in a usual bank and the real estate industry. So we should be ready that, for example, in the year of 2025, the market will start developing rapidly, and we will be there. We will already be there for a couple of years. Another direction I haven't mentioned yet is an artificial intelligence field. So in our artificial intelligence lab, the predictive analytics sphere has very good expertise, as well as computer vision. So have enough expertise in these directions. And right now we are actively looking for an internal project in the field of artificial intelligence. In the same way as Binaries or SpiritMe, or it can be an external project. And what we can see now, we understand that each of these directions requires a team requires some effort. So how we will conduct the development in all these directions? It will be in the same way as for the EYWA project. It will go through idea, attracting funds, and then it will go for a launch in the market. So it will be a standalone project. So how the ecosystem, the DigiU ecosystem will implement all these activities. And you will get more information, more detailed information on Thursday. Now I will explain you in the concept level. So it will be similar to EYWA. So the DigiU ecosystem investors will be able to become co-owners of these projects. But not in the same way as, for example, Binary's project. But you will get a 10% of the project if you buy DigiU shares. So there will be distribution of each project on all purchased DigiU packages, DigiU shares. You don't need to invest them separately. You just need to make a payment for DigiU shares to be able to participate in this round. This round will be around 6 months. And we thought that this format will be convenient for our audience. So we want to be fair and make sure that early investor will get more of this project. So we want to close these early rounds in 3 to 6 months. So you can get a part of this 10% if you pay off your installment plan. And you will receive shares. It can be shares, it can be tokens, but anyways, you will get an part of ownership in this project. That's what we are going to talk about on Thursday. And I want everyone who is watching this webinar now to join us on Thursday and be the first one to get the information. When you will get your assets in this project. It was a similar story with Binary's EYWA when we were conducting snapshots, but here we have a different strategy in a different approach. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. And if you like the idea of these directions, like RWA Bank, of tokenization of real world assets and artificial intelligence, leave plus signs if you like these ideas. Someone is asking why DigiU Wealth has such a high return. So the company has some expertise, analytics, and if there is a new protocol and we conduct an audit of this protocol, so we deposit money there, and that's how we get such returns. So when we negotiate with professionals, they say that we have a low risk strategy. And they say if we apply other resources, we can increase returns, but also increase the risks. But we don't want to do that. And many people are using the DigiU Wealth product as a way to save Ethereum or Bitcoin and wait until the market goes up. So right now we have an option to deposit money for 1 month, and in the near future we will offer to deposit for 6 months or more. So there will be higher returns for these types of deposits. And I think we'll have some promotion, so someone will have a chance to get an increased returns. And I think we'll also stimulate people to make deposits for us by giving them DigiU shares. So our goal is to stimulate people for a long-term deposit. Maybe they will be available at the end of October or November. So there are questions about the token price, questions about the token estate and other projects. So I can see a question related to EYWA tokens and Binaryx tokens. Will those with a vesting period of 18 or 36 months receive rewards? So these tokens are rewards themselves, and the vesting period for these tokens start at the moment of the token generation event. And as we can see, the market has not really good conditions right now. And that's why the TGE has been postponed. So the vesting period starts from the TGE date. I can see some pluses and positive feedback. So we've been working in this direction for 2 or 3 months, and we already did some presentations in India, and the audience was very interested. So on Thursday, you get the information on how to become co-owners of these new projects. What you need to do to add this new project into your portfolio. These assets of real estate and of RWA Bank as well. So all this will be on Thursday at the same time. So please join yourself and invite your partners too. So everyone will understand the specifics. A co-owner of the projects I have mentioned. So that's how we want to implement the strategy of having enough funds to be able to invest in the projects we select. Thank you for this webinar, and I'm waiting for you on Thursday with your questions and your ideas. See you soon.